Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town.
Of course we fucking did. What game are you fucking watching?
Easy.
What game are you watching? You're talking utter fucking bollocks that we didn't try and score a goal. What game are you fucking watching, Mark? No, he's talking absolute bollocks. All of you lot sitting at home in the fucking warm, and people like me and Colin. No, listen to me. We go up and down the fucking country, and you fucking knobs sit on here and you fucking moan week after fucking week. Get in your fucking cars, get to the fucking games, support the fucking team. See you later. Fuck off.
Speak to you later, fuck off.
All right, Knox.
Hello.
All right, dickhead.
He's not spoken to you all day, Kally. He's got the hump with me in the WhatsApp.
I haven't got the
absolute silence all day.
If I had the hump, you'd know.
Punches on the naughty step.
You wouldn't be here if I had the hump, that's for sure. I have to get a pen because I have to write down some of the.
What are you apologising for my language?
I was just making sure people knew that he's about to get a lot bluer because anyway, I'm not gonna hide from the fact we do swear.
I've got big hopes to Kally. Bring the brownies Saturday to Morecambe, please.
We'll get some little.
Let's break it down then, Crunch, because I think what you said there was nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I've thought about it all night, all day.
I'll tell you what. I've had loads of comments today, Martin, and probably about 2 were negative, and the rest, everyone agrees with me. Even MK Dons fans, Colin, Aidan, they've watched the clip and they said 100% agree with you. Showing passion, you go home and away. So get in the bin.
Can't fault your passion.
Yeah,
can't fault your passion. Absolutely can't fault your passion.
But, you were right at the beginning when you're saying that, because I do get what you mean, because everyone was a bit like, everyone felt a bit deflated. It's immediately after the game. Everyone felt a bit deflated because people were expecting 3 points.
Rightly so. You just draw 0-0 at home.
Yeah, and I get that. But then when some people were saying, we're not trying, there's no effort there. Well, we did agree with that. The stats do show that. So when Crunch said that, it was fine. But I think you got so wound up by that, you just then. You opened up the swear jar and it just went mad.
He went.
When I watched it back, Matt was messaging me when I was walking to the car and he said, some of the comments here are they're embarrassing. Curtis saying the second half he was embarrassed watching it and it was dire. I mean, does he know anything about football? No, he fucking doesn't, because that is nonsense.
No, but I think, again, to play a bit of devil's advocate there, the thing is, we're all riding this crest. I want to call it this crest of optimism under McKenna. We started well, and we've seen good performances. Apart from maybe Bolton and certainly the first half of Sheffield. Apart from those games, we've actually had really good performances. Even so, I think there, I get what you're saying to a point, but it wasn't the worst. I still remember Northampton last year. I still remember other games where, we have been absolutely shit. But I think, again, it's because it's straight after the game. People are deflated thinking, it's people more in the mindset that it's 2 points dropped. But TJ puts a point in there earlier that actually, if you look at Cheltenham's form, we should be looking at it more as a point gained. They're taking points of teams we can't take points off. Or
What's Graham's comment there? I'm a great supporter, but you are towards other supporters. What's that?
Just 3 O's. What I was going to say before we get to the
out of order.
I do
listen. I've spoken to Mike. They've got no problem with what I said.
I did. It's 2022, man. The way people support their football team has changed. It's changed, categorically changed. You choose to go away from home. That's brilliant for you, but nobody makes you go away from home to spend your money. Nobody.
Well, I know. That's obvious.
So why do you expect the pat on the back for doing that?
Have I ever said I want a pat on the back?
Last night you were almost...
I spoke to Colin.
Where's my medal?
Colin, certain people, they'll miss a game and it don't bother him. I would do anything I can possible to get to a football match, Mark.
Yeah, but for many, it's
anything
not,
I can. I don't want to pat on the back. I don't want to pat on the back for doing it because I love doing it. You know, because I care and we care about our football club. Probably care too much.
I would probably go along and agree with that. But I just think in 2022, the way people support football and their football teams are completely different. And iFollow has opened it up. The pandemic has changed a lot of people's habits. And we have a raging inflation issue in this country at the moment that forces people to choose between some of the more bare necessities of life.
I get that.
Anyone who paid £10 last night,
I get that, but then you've got the man over there.
Much as a fan.
The man over there, he's not paying for his away ticket, so he's saving plenty of money.
Well, exactly. There you go. There you go. But you know, what you were saying up until that point, I was fine with. But then that point there, I don't agree with, you know, home and away fans sort of having that higher.
I think a lot of people that they will find the money to go to football, Martin. They will. By hook or by crook, people will get there.
Yeah, no, it is by habit, and you're both kind of right, because Crunch is right in terms of you do see things at a live game that you don't see through an iFollow.
Agree with that. 100%.
So there are certain things, right? But on the flip, it ain't that easy. Like yesterday, 3 of them, one's in Ireland, one's up like I think Accrington sides, and one's down in London. So it's like it's hard for them, and I think Mike actually has got a season ticket, or I know he comes.
That's what I don't understand. That people would have a season ticket and don't go to the games. Don't bother buying.
I got a season ticket, but when I bought the season ticket, every time I have it, and I've had my season ticket now for 6 years on the trot straight, and I've always been one of those where the midweek games it's 50-50 where I'm going to go.
Yeah,
maybe not at all.
I get that.
Right, even last Saturday, I didn't go last Saturday. But
I didn't mean to listen. If I offended anybody, I didn't mean to offend anyone, and I did go off on one, and I did lose it a bit. I get that, but I wouldn't have people saying
how rude.
Mark, I spoke to Mark afterwards. I think he was a little bit cross-wise. He didn't sort of mean that we didn't try and score a goal, Martin. You know, it was like maybe
we cleared that up after you left.
Yeah, maybe we didn't create enough.
Yeah, after he said piss off and fuck you all, then it got calm again. All the clarity come out.
He didn't even have to kick him out of the stream. He kicked himself out of the stream. That was the funny bit. I was like, oh, he might have crossed the line here. Do I have to kick him out? And he just removed himself. It was like,
yeah, I just said my bit, and I thought, all right, I've said enough now.
It was like the proverbial mic drop. You know,
when you do your 2022 best bits of Crunch or TT, that's got to make an appearance.
I think he has. It is. That's what I wanted to stress with you myself, because I think 2022 football habits, the way we support our teams, have definitely changed now, and it's not always as easy.
You can't beat going to a game live.
No, I think you can. No, and I think what I took away from last night, as we now come on to the game, is it was very different for those that went to those that didn't. And I feel it's because when you watch it through the lens of a computer screen or a TV screen, Tom, it's almost like a television show. You want the outcome to be a win, and anything but that outcome, you're disappointed with, because that's the outcome of the television show you wanted. When you're there, it's more hectic, it's more in your face, it's completely a different experience.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, obviously being there and watching at home is completely different, because you haven't probably got people to speak to it. You don't get the atmosphere for it, but it's like you can still have an opinion on it, and
absolutely,
it can be right or wrong. It depends who you are and what you agree with. But yeah, only from what I saw from afar, first half was great. Second half, I don't think we didn't try. I wouldn't agree with that at all. We huffed and puffed, but as I go back to, Cheltenham did what they've done for the last quarter of a whole season. For 10 games, they've nullified teams. They've made a lot of draws out of this run they've on, and I don't think we should be we should be expecting to win these type of games at home, but we don't have a divine right to do it.
There you go. Look, Stuart's drove 4 hours, so he's made the effort to get there.
Always easy though.
Again, I think the thing is again, like it's different. It's different circumstances for different people. Like I'll go to most games anyway, and from my house to Portman Road, it's about 2 and a bit hours. I know there's a guy up in the northeast. Every game he goes to, you got the people down Portsmouth traveling. But then it is what you can do, because for some people, it's not that accessible, and
absolutely,
some people don't have that time. For me, on a Saturday, if I'm going to Portman Road, that's me out of my house from about 11 o'clock in the morning till about sort of 8:30 in the evening.
Bet your wife loves you, didn't she? I bet your wife loves you.
It's like the next two Saturdays, Kally. It's like
I was watching the football with her yesterday, so like what TJ was saying about being at the ground. So I've got it on the telly there, and I'm like, fucking hell, we need to score. And she goes, you know what? You just need to sign a striker. I was like, yeah, I know. She goes, oh, that Harry Kane's all right, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, I don't think we can afford him. So yeah.
The next two Saturdays, Martin, I'm working. I'm finishing early, especially to drive all the way to Morecambe and all the way to Fleetwood. I don't have to do it, but I want to do it.
Crunch, there are certain sports like, come on, how many have made that trip to Barrow?
The thing is, what Ian says here is also very, very credible. I know people who go home and away and they haven't got a fucking clue about the game. That is also true, right? Yeah. Before you had your little bit of your moment, you said some comments, Crunch. You said hardly disastrous, nothing to be negative about.
Yeah, can I little rewind? Because I had lost the plot in the ground in the last 5 minutes, because where I sit is right near the away dugout. So Michael Duff was standing there, and about 5 times, bearing in mind I'm in the family enclosure, I was standing up shouting at the top of my voice, "You are a fucking disgrace."
Oh my God!
When they were playing, especially when the guy went down. When the guy went down and had the shot, and they tried to sort of lift him off, didn't they, Kally? I think it was Wolfie.
Well, I was looking for that in the paper. There was no mention of a sniper at Portman Road because someone shot them, and I was just like, "Oh, where is this sniper?"
So do you stay by those comments? Because from where I'm sat in my nice warm knob zone, it was.
You're not going to give that up.
No, I'm fucking not going to give it up, Kally. No, I don't pay for the right to get called a knob. No, I'm joking. Hardly disastrous. 0-0 at home to Cheltenham. I don't know. It's borderline.
Why?
In a playoff push, that's borderline.
It's a playoff push, but a playoff push that we're way behind the 8 ball.
True.
Kieran McKenna, when he came in, was it 10 points, Martin? 11 points?
A lot.
He's breathed new life into our season when our season was dying on its arse, right? So it's a draw at home to Cheltenham. Yeah, we want to win. I understand that. You're not going to win every single game. This is the 3rd tier that we're in. Now, they came with a game plan, and I said to Colin, and I said to the fishermen, all these teams now, they're well coached, Martin. They're well set up. They can all play football. There's no real gimmies in this league apart from sort of Doncaster and Gillingham. Cheltenham, like Tom said, I think 1 defeat in 10 now. So they're having a really, really good season. They've taken 4 points off of us. They've come with a game plan. Second half, they came into the game more. They could have won the game, Martin, at the end. The guy at the far post had that chance and he shanked it over the bar. But we just have to take it on the chin. Like Kally said, it's a point, it's a clean sheet. We move on again. It's another game undefeated. And I know we're all sitting here, we want to beat them. But we're still playing catch-up. And when you look at that league table, and what are we, 3 points off? That's not reality. That's not reality, because you just have to look at the games in hand that the other teams have got. Really, it's about 6 points, Martin, when I look at that.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
And that's the thing, like, just on yesterday's performance. As fans, just think about last season towards the end when the players, knew they were going. There was no effort. They weren't bothered about the playing. It was piss poor. Guion Edwards was deliberately trying to kick a ball out of the fucking stadium, right? Yesterday, the players were playing like they wanted to play. Never mind Eminem, bloody Wolfenden and that blonde hair. He went to Prime Gaza. He was trying to run through the midfield, and he was trying to create something. And they did that little, the highlights or in 5 at the end, and they got camera feed at the end following the players on the pitch. Look how disappointed they were. They felt it. So just like, it wasn't like it is, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I think we got to look at the positives. You have to look at it kind of half full, because if we're just all going to be like, it's fucking negative, it's shit, then we might as well give up now. We've still got points to play for.
It's magnified by where we are at the minute. And I still can't agree with Mike D when he says the start of the season hasn't cost us. Of course this cost us, Martin. Every game now, we are paying for that start.
No, I keep fucking telling you at the start of the season. I get being told to shut up. I know.
We're paying for it.
I know.
Normally, we'd be in the top 6. We'd be sitting here disappointed, but yeah, we're still in the top 6. But it hurts that a little bit more when you should win.
Yeah, touching on that period though, like McKenna's had 11 games. The 11 games at the start of the season, we got 13 points and +2 goal difference. McKenna's got 23 points and +10 goal difference. So that's how much of a change there's been. Yeah. That's how much of a comparison there's been. And it's a lot better than it was before. But that is what's killed us this season. We've had a quarter of the season where we've just fell off a cliff and we've not caught up. And we can't expect McKenna to catch that up. It's not fair.
Martin said he'd sack him after Bolton, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I did. I did.
But even those first couple of games, like what was it, the 8th game we got a win, or 7th game was it, Lincoln? I can't remember. Right. But certainly those first 10 games were very underwhelming. Even if we had, say, McKenna at the beginning, he'd probably got a better return. But I think, let's not forget, there was that, and I know some people hate to hear it, but there was that gelling period. You had 19 new players or whatever that had to get to know each other. So it was inevitable that there were going to be some slow results. I just don't think. I was expecting 2 or 3 results, fourth game with firing, but
I think though.
Did we ship 2 goals in every game in the first 6, didn't we?
Yeah.
Now you're asking it. Last night you were saying with some fucking authority that stat. You brought that stat to the party last night, and you were laying it down like you knew it was a fact. Now you're asking. Bloody hell, man! You really were lost in the emotion, weren't you? You truly were gone.
I had a long day. I've been up since 3. I'll tell you about my story in McDonald's as well later.
Did you phone Suffolk with that? With that?
No, I was on this morning. They woke me up at 10 to 8. I knew I was on, but I was sleeping.
Did you swear on it?
Calm and relaxed.
Did you swear on it?
I never swear on the radio.
Oh, so you can go without swearing. Oh, perfect.
I think only once I swore on there when. Do you remember when we played Bristol City under Mick away? And I think Kevin Foley was playing there.
Were you the Leon Best bloke?
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Still to be revealed who that was.
Oh, mate. What I was going to say is obviously Cheltenham are, at the moment, the proverbial Ipswich Town of the Championship, punching above their weight, getting results they shouldn't be getting with a really small budget. But it is the start, Tom, as you rightly said, that has hurt us, which in turn, I think we can probably fairly safely say is why some fans were frustrated, or really frustrated in some cases last night, because that start has hurt, yes, but Cheltenham at home, they're plucky underdogs, brilliant. But with a reported, I think it's £9 million wage budget, with Selena on the pitch, Chaplin on the pitch, I could go on. You should be walking away with 3, shouldn't you?
You probably should do, yes, but I don't buy into that we should be steamrolling every single team in this league. It's a difficult league for different reasons. There are teams like Cheltenham, like you just touched on, punching way above their weight. It doesn't mean they're not a good team. They obviously are a good team because they've taken 4 points off us this season. So they're doing their bit and it's fine. It's like, I think we need a bit of a reality check. The start of the season's killed us a bit. We're still in the mix, which says a lot about this league, to be honest. So we need to keep going. We've got 2 tough away games, to be honest. We've got to go to the arse end of the country, across from Suffolk, and we've got to do that twice in 2 weeks. So that's going to be no gimme either. So if we come out with that with 4 points, it might be a good result for us.
Okay, right. What we're going to do? We'll bring people in, have their say. We'll go through what the team ratings were from last night after Cruncher decided to storm out of the room, and we'll see if the guys here agree with the ratings from the contributors last night. We'll start with the Fisherman, because the Fisherman came on directly after Crunch and said the complete opposite. It wasn't great. We should be winning if we're going to make the playoffs. It was almost like the complete opposite of what Cruncher had just delivered. Mike, welcome in. Hey, how are you?
And Mike, you at the game, weren't you?
I was, with my brother.
Good man. More memories made. I like it. How is your brother? Is he well?
Yeah, he's in he's now in a nursing home in Kesgrave.
Oh,
so
nice.
we're in the process of moving him over there, making him comfortable and stuff. And I took him out last night. We had a good laugh. We had a good, good few hours and stuff. I see Sarah and her husband. It was nice. Had one guy who I met at the car park. We started talking about town. Bit of a talking town hater, I think, because I had to put him down a bit. There we are. I dealt with him. Don't worry about that. He didn't realise. I don't know whether he realised I was part of it, but he was talking about it. And when I said, "Well, actually, I'm the fisherman, and I'm what I go on there and whatever," and he sort of calmed down a little bit.
You probably abused you on Twitter, Mike.
Probably, yeah.
One of them faceless accounts.
Yeah, you know. Look, going back to the game, I was sat with my brother, and there was one or two other fans around us, and we were all saying the same thing. Look, the lineup. When I saw you, I think you pinged me over the lineup, didn't you, Cruncher? And I was like, okay, so we're playing one up front. That to me didn't bode well for a start. I didn't understand. Look, I would have kept the same team that played against, apart from obviously Evans, because I know he's injured. I would have kept the same sort of style of team that played at the weekend because they didn't do nothing wrong. And that one up front at home is one of my biggest bugbears. I don't like it. It didn't work last night. I know Burns had an opportunity and then Chaplin had a couple of chances or whatever, but in all fairness, we weren't firing. And I said about 30 minutes in, I said we're going to be here till midnight, and we're still not going to score. Right. If we don't put these to bed in the first half, we're going to struggle in the second. And it was literally two halves of completely different football. First half, we were dominant. We were passing. The ball went forward, and we just looked a completely comfortable team. Second half, we just looked absolutely shambolic. And then we had super sub Bond come on, who his first action of the game was to be offside. Oh, what a surprise! And then we had Piggott who come on. Well, I'm quite frankly, if he wants to lift down back down to Wimbledon, he can go. As far as I'm concerned, absolute shocker. Sorry, but he's awful. He's had enough time to prove he can do something, and he's not doing anything. It's just a stand parking, as far as I'm concerned, and he's just woeful. And last night, what was he doing getting in the way of Selena? That ball, right? If he'd have left that, Selena had a pretty much open goal.
Yes.
And I for the life of me, he'll do one good bit of play to every three bad. And not for me, mate. I wanted Piggott, and I think maybe the club's too big for him. I think maybe the style of football doesn't suit him. For me, McKenna, look, I weren't impressed with the one up front. So I'm going to put a little bit of blame on McKenna, if I'm honest, and that's just my opinion. May not be a popular one, but that's the bottom line. And I just felt that had we had two strikers on, a bit more service, because Thompson down that left just kept going down, but he just kept cutting in, coming inside rather than he had bungalow-sized grass to run down the left, to the byline and ping one across. But no, he decided to cut in, and sometimes him and Selena got on top of each other. Selena had a good game. Again, Carroll, thought a bit too lightweight. Man of the match, probably Wolfie. Lino was shocking. Lino down by the tunnel, who was running that line. There was a brilliant incident in the first half. The ball actually went out a yard out of play, and he was halfway up the pitch, not looking at where the ball had gone, and we'd got it, and we were taking it back, and then we were back on the attack, and we were just laughing. It was so embarrassing. I mean, if the TV saw that and the lino, anybody for UFA are grading him, he would certainly get a ticket off for that because But my highlight last night was, or should I say this morning, was Cruncher's rant. I thought that was brilliant.
I thought you would. Yeah, it's right up your street, that sort of thing.
Not the knob part. I don't think calling fans knobs is probably the best thing to do. I didn't agree with that. I understood his passion.
Yeah. Well, you're one of the fans he talks to, isn't he? In that sense, because you were there last night, but you're not a regular at Portman Road, as it were.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'll happily take a knob. You know what I mean?
Mike has a reason why he can't go because he works on Saturdays, but other fans don't.
All right.
No. You can't take some other fans may work Saturday, so yeah, you're getting a sticky ground here, Pash. Let's talk about
knobs and sticky ground, please. Right. Lots to unpack here. We've got Up front approach doesn't work for the Fishermen. Subs were wrong. I've written down subs were wrong, Tom. Game 11 from McKenna. I've written down subs were wrong. Do you think that's right of me to think that? First mistake really from McKenna?
Not having Norwood on the bench if he was fit was probably an issue for me. I think he would have been ideal for the end of that game. So I don't know where he was. I put him in my team for the next game. But yeah, I could see why Thompson came off, to be honest, in that second half. He was struggling quite a bit. And it just, something clicked and it just changed. And KBY came on and gave us a bit more. But yeah, Piggott didn't do it for me. Bond didn't do enough. So I don't know. Maybe Aluko coming on might have been good. But yeah, I don't think Kieran got it exactly right last night for the subs.
And he's a young manager. That's going to happen. It really, isn't it? You know, you can't expect him to get it right every game, Tom.
No, he's so young into his career. He's done a quarter of a full season, and he's done an incredible job so far relative to everything we've had before. So I'm not going to give him any real flack for that. It's a learning curve for him. So I think we have to just accept it. I'm
not going to ask you sort of too close to a question, Kally, but I do obviously know that you're close to some of the members of the squad. I understand it from what I've read that Norwood wasn't injured, just wasn't a part of the 18. Was that in hindsight maybe a mistake to admit him? Was he a sort of player we could have brought on, shithouse versus shithouse, so to speak?
I mean, he's one player, right? And I know we're talking about one player don't make a whole team. It's a squad thing. To be completely honest, I'm going to go against the grain here, but I think Norwood's had a bit of a purple patch. Since crunching him and made up, he can't find the back of the net.
That's what I've said.
In fact, when didn't he come on against Burton on the weekend, or was it the week before? Open opportunity, and he couldn't find the back of the net. It was on a plate for him. So I don't know. I don't see what bringing Norwood in over a Bond, because on paper, okay, Bond didn't fire, but on paper, you'd say Bond's the better striker. So if you're going to choose one, have him. And I think it's fair that Piggott does get a chance. And you'd think against these kind of quote unquote smaller clubs, you'd give someone like your fringe players a bit more of an opportunity. And also, let's not forget, you know, maybe there's a way that they're managing Norwood in terms of injuries and stuff like that. So he doesn't get injured or whatever. So, yeah.
If he's fit, though, surely he has to play. And I totally don't agree with the fact that Bond is a better striker than Norwood. Bond's had what? He's had a little purple patch at the start of the season. What's he done since?
I could argue.
Norwood's done it the last. Norwood's banged in goals. Even last year when he was injured, he scored the same amount of goals as Bond scored now.
But he scores it over a period, so I could argue he has these little purple patches in seasons again. So I could argue your same point there. Do you know what I mean?
Norwood's a miles better.
And listen, and no disrespect to James, but because we haven't seen him do a whole season, you don't know whether he is consistently going to do banging goals left, right, centre, because it's only this season now where, you know, he hasn't got injured and he seems to be like, you know, just left out for whatever reasons. But when he has come in over the last couple of games, where's he scored?
Norwood come on against MK Dons. He come on against Doncaster. He come on against Burton, and he done nothing off the bench.
That's what I mean. Like, so you're talking about putting Norwood there. Does he deserve his opportunity? Because, like, you've had your chances. You were scoring before. You ain't scoring now. You got to look for goals.
Norwood's a starter, though. This is how I've always said this. Norwood is a starter. You don't have your best striker, and I think he is the best striker. When he's 100% fit, he's the best striker at the club. You don't have him sat on the bench. You have him starting. You know, yesterday we needed two up front, and you know, and the map is becoming a little bit annoying because people say, "Oh, we gained a point." No, we didn't. We had that at the start of the game. We haven't gained nothing. We've just kept the point that we both teams had at the start of the game. We haven't gained nothing. We haven't gained
lost it. We could have lost it. We could have conceded.
Agreed, but we didn't. So we at quarter 8 when we kicked off, both teams had a point, and at quarter 10 when we finished or whatever it was, both teams had that same point. So we haven't gained anything.
But we haven't lost anything. By that logic, we ain't lost anything.
No, I'm not saying we haven't lost anything.
Just wasted my time. That's all we've done. That's all we've done. Yet again, another evening wasted by Ipswich Town Football Club. Lewis Robertson, Piggott's a starter, not an impact player off the bench. Same as Noyd. People are saying Piggott had his chance, started 2 games in the last 20. Before we let the fisherman go, he made a great point, Rich, about Piggott took the ball off Selina's boot. He went as far, Mike did, to call him Sam Parkin-esque. Stop me if I'm incorrect at all, Mike. What did you make of Piggott yesterday? And he did take it off Selina's boot. Whether it was scored, we don't know.
What was he on? 15 minutes? Come on,
did Selina call it,
didn't he? Everything that he tried, he just had one of them games where he looked like an absolute cart horse last night. He did.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a game where he don't look like a cart horse.
No, that's not fair. I ain't even angry that he went for that because if Selina's called for it, I don't think Piggott's gonna go shooting for it. So I don't think Selina's put a shout in. Secondly, he's your striker. He's in the box. If he feels hungry enough to try and go for a shot, so be it. I want to see that. And yes, okay, he didn't have a great game, but he wanted the ball. He wanted to make the change. He didn't shy away. He knew it weren't going great, and he didn't shy away. That shows character, you know.
I agree there with Kally.
I thought he's all right.
I think he came on and he was trying too hard. And sometimes when you're coming on, you're only getting 15 minutes in a game like it's hard to get into it. You know, it's not.
He's holding the number 9 shirt. He's got one of the best shirts of the club where many, many good strikers have had it. And he's come in and all that you say, he's not had enough time. He has had enough time now. He gets training games. He gets training games. He's had enough. Look, a few months, say 2-3 months ago, I'd argue at that point. Now he's had enough time. He's not done anything. He's a cart horse. Honestly,
in those. Did you not see?
No, it doesn't matter how he starts. He's had chances to do something. He's
what would
nothing.
you have given him yesterday, Mike? Because we gave him a 2.
Do you know what? Right, I said it earlier. I would have started.
That's disgusting. That is disrespectful. That's as disrespectful as me calling people knobs, Martin. This is a professional footballer. He's not got a 2. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to break the conversation up, trying to get some fucking sense.
It's not a 2.
I'm not having this again. What would you have given from yesterday, Mike?
3. Absolutely.
Nonsense.
Absolutely. Absolute 3 all day long. He came on, offered nothing. Honestly, it was just, well, what was the point? You know, this. Look. Reality is that he's just this is not working out here at the Town. Whether it's the style of play, whether it's look, it's just not working here. And for me, it's just Sam Parkin-esque. It's not working. And the reality is, everything bounces off him. It's not very. Maybe his confidence shy, but
put the Durrance.
I would say Norwood's got a great first touch, Mike. If you said things are banging off Piggott because he's played and he's held up plays shit as well.
See,
come on, you can't. You cannot compare Norwood to. You can't compare Norwood to Piggott.
How many goals did Piggott get last year? How many did Norwood get?
All right, Mike.
Hang on a minute. If you're going to go down that road. No, hang on a minute. How many times was Norwood injured and come back quick last year because of the managers?
There's a good reason to get rid of him.
Piggott looks after himself.
Nah, Norwood?
Yeah. Look at Mike.
You were kissing his arse the other day.
I wasn't.
Oh my days! He came on, ripped you a new arsehole, and you were kissing his ass like you were best mates. Now it's like, oh no, get him in the bin. Oh, come on, mate. You can't say that rubbish.
Mark the Fisherman Brown sits down with James Law. When are you going to have an interview with him then, Mike?
Absolutely.
I'll
happily have an interview with him.
Right, Mike, we love you. We'll speak to you later. I'm going to try and get some back.
Put the Durrance comment up because that's a good point on Piggott.
Sorry. The Durrance, which one of them we don't know, but the Durrance say people forget he played well Saturday and wore down their defence, so Jackson could rip it up later on in the game. Good point.
So just like Jackson over the last 3 or 4 games when Jackson's been starting and he's done made a difference. When they're coming off and these players, I think Crunch was there, made a good point there about trying too much because they've got a small amount of time. They're trying too much to try and do something. Yeah. Give him the starts. So if you give Piggott 3 or 4 starts, then you may see him come out of the show and be that player that we know. Let's not forget he hit the post as well. Apart from 6 inches to the right, he scored a goal, and it's a different conversation. So I don't know, but the thing is goals we desperately need. So this end of the season, everything's got to be perfect.
And I think a lot of people obviously are looking through the lens of that chance that could have probably resulted in a goal, Tom. And obviously, I said on last night's show that when he got in the way of Selena in the manner that he did was because of how little game time he's had. He saw his opportunity inside the 6-yard box to put his name in lights, put his name back in the conversation, to kickstart his ITFC career, if you like. And he sort of jumped at it. And really, the best thing to do there would have been allow your teammate to slot it away.
It was a completely different game to come onto in comparison to other games that we've played. It was scrappy. It was all over the place. We weren't playing like we play. If he'd come on and we were 2-0 up, he probably could have got a bit more space, probably could have had a bit more composure in front of goal. But he didn't, and he was scrapping, and he was fighting, and he doesn't get anything below a 5 for me because he tried. And if you don't try, you get below that score, in my opinion. But if you try and you put the graft in, no matter how long you're on the pitch, you get a baseline of a score. So
I like that.
He tried. It's fine. It didn't work out. It didn't work out for the whole team. So don't single the only guy out because the rest of them couldn't put the ball in either.
Scapegoats, isn't it?
Great point, Tom. Great point. Let's talk about a positive. We bring Lloyd in. Lloyd, talk positives. The back 5. Well, we'll say back 4. Walton, Donassi, and Wolf and Edmondson. Over, what is it now? 8 hours without conceding? Is it over 7 hours? It's a long time either way. And probably Wolfenden last night, man of the match. How well are those 4 playing as a unit, Lloyd?
Right, first, hello, Knobs. I'm only joking. They played really well. They played really well. There was a moment where Wolfie gave the ball away right in front of the striker and he could have had a run, but he managed to clear him off it, which was the only worry I had. But other than that, he had a solid game. Edmondson, fucking shithouse, that guy that was sitting on the floor fucking forever, just picked him up because I could see it perfectly. It was right in front of me. As soon as his mate came over, fucking Wolfie stepped in, and then I think the striker or midfielder or whoever it was put his hand around his neck or something, and I don't think he got booked for it. I only saw Wolfie get booked, so I thought that was quite baffling. Officiating, well, it's typical League One officiating, and it's going to be shocking. Not going to be pretty, but you have to deal. No, the ref was good. No, the ref was good. It's just the some of the Lino decisions were a bit baffling, but other than that, I thought the referee was far better than what we had in the last game. But other than that, you're going to get typical League One officiating. Yeah. Other than that, back 4 did really well.
Rich, you're known for
back 3
cruncher, for the crunching tackle. That Wolfenden. He's just in a fine vein of form.
Yeah, I think that was the 12th game that them 3 have played together, Martin, and they're all benefiting from it. They know, and the goalkeeper. You've got that. Look, we all know when we play football, the partnerships. The previous manager went on about it, didn't he? And they're all benefiting from that. And listen, we've probably given him some stick on here, Martin Wolfenden. We thought he was probably going to be surplus to requirements in January. Yeah. And if the former manager had still been here, he probably would have been. But he's just got to keep churning out the performances. Another man of the match display last night. Hopefully it'll through Saturday when we go to Morecambe, because they've obviously got Stockton. He's going to be a threat. You just got to keep churning out the performances. You keep your shirt every week, and because listen, he made his debut under Mick I think it was right back at Palace.
He did, yeah.
Spell at Swindon really benefited him. He's quite. Colin said he'd met him Saturday, and he had a picture with him, and he said he's so laid back. And I remember Paul Lambert saying that he was too laid back, but I've just been nothing but impressed by him. Sometimes when you're not noticing him on the pitch, he's having a good game because he's just going about his business. He's doing the simple things, and long may it continue, I say.
I think one of the things, one of the things that have benefited him is because obviously we're playing a more passing game. His passing out the back has gotten so much better than when he was under Mick and anyone else. Like, he definitely looks more confident to lay it out to the side or try and play a ball forward. Some of his balls in the game when he tried to play them forward would obviously go to a defender and be knocked back. But other than that, he's moving of the ball and his placement and his positioning is so much improved. And that's credit to him for just constantly grinding especially when we thought, well, that's the last time we've seen him play for Town. But he's just done so well.
It comes down to your coaching though as well, doesn't it? So like, you look at the first couple of games, and he's always had that laid backness. He's a laid back type of character. We know that about him. But like with Jackson, McKenna's there saying to him, "This is what you're good at. Play to your strengths," rather than stop trying to do this, stop trying to do that. And actually, if you look at all our defenders, he's probably the most the kind of ball playing defender. He's probably the most, I'd say, comfortable on the ball anyway. So yeah, man, it's a nice little comeback for him, and long may it continue.
Yeah, Tom, I'm actually gonna. This might surprise people. I think it's probably Christian Walton's one of his better games yesterday. And when I say that, it's going to cause eyebrows raising because obviously he didn't really do anything. But that's why it was one of his better games, because as a goalkeeper, trust me, I've played the position. It can be so easy to do nothing for 80 minutes and then lose your concentration. And then when you're called upon, you make a mistake or your handling's not as sharp as it needs to be because you've done nothing for the whole game. Whereas yesterday, even right at the death, his handling was so soft. Everything stuck to his gloves. Nothing was spilt. And he just showed a real strong level of concentration yesterday, which I, didn't know if he had it in him because he didn't do nothing. And then towards the end, had to get a little bit busy.
Yeah, and that's what the best keepers do, surely. And I think there were 2 or 3 times we let Cheltenham in when it was just naivety on our part. They shouldn't have got as far as they did towards our goal. But yeah, like you said, Walton would put a hand out. He had Edmonton in front of him, and he had to kind of make sure that ball went away, didn't deflect anywhere, and he just knew what he was doing. And it's another clean sheet. It's 5 in a row now, and yeah, it's mad. We're such a better team with him in it, and
we are.
Yeah, if we're
going to change your mind because you didn't rate him. He wasn't high on your Bristol score chart.
There's no point having a brain if you can't change your mind. It's as simple as that.
But in fairness, when he got busy near the end, he had a crucial stop where one of them made their way down the flank, made an easy stop save. And then there was that one corner where it seemed to have dropped in between the defender's feet. And any Cheltenham player could have easily just got a touch on that and it could have gone into his corner. But he managed to quickly get down low and smother it just so no one could do that. So his awareness during the game, even when he's not having to do anything, is top notch. He's constantly he's not what's the word? Dozing off, basically.
Exactly, so not losing that concentration. Yeah, that's why I think it was honestly one of his stronger games. Not perhaps better games, one of his stronger games. Lloyd, as always,
he's been solid for the last few games anyway. So, and like I said, the goalkeeper and the back three have nail on every day for me. Every game. Same.
They've made the position they're in without a doubt.
I still think we need a striker, but the whole Piggott thing, I didn't see yesterday's show because I went to do something else. But seriously, 2 for Piggott when he's got 15 minutes to do something. You can't base a striker to get something happening in 15 minutes. Most strikers in 15 minutes will be lucky if they even get a touch of the ball. And I didn't think Bon offered anything in that game either. I thought that was his poorest game.
Fair point. Lloyd, we appreciate you. Absolutely, as always, great points.
Cheers.
Fair point on Piggott there towards the end. Look after yourself.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Right, Tom Carroll. Let's talk about him because Lee Evans out for a few weeks. Backinson, don't know where he was yesterday or Saturday. Who's going to partner Morsey, Tom? Because Evans is out for a couple of weeks and Tom Carroll yesterday was, in the bin, I think somebody on this show would say.
Yeah, he's not in my team for this Saturday, to be honest. I've put Backinson in if he is fit or available. He's at least scored a goal. And he can at least put his foot in, even though it's not been seamless the whole time he's played, but he's not played that many games. So what I've seen of Carroll so far is he can keep the ball, and that's about it. And
it's a huge miss.
I don't see what else he does. We miss Evans' set pieces, definitely. Like Selena put a couple of great balls in, and we should have put them away yesterday. But at least Evans can put in a free kick and make stuff look dangerous for us. And at least he can.
Tom should say that about set pieces. We've had over 170 corners and we've scored 2 goals, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, free kick. I mean, corners. Yeah, it's a curse for us. But like free kicks, at least they look half dangerous with Evans on the ball compared to anyone else we've got. I'm not saying what Evans does every time is perfect, but I'm saying he's better than what else we've got on the pitch. Maybe Barcelona.
It is a big miss, isn't it, Kally? I never thought I'd say this about Lee Evans, but it is a big miss because the options behind him since the GOAT is now at Crewe, take your pick, really, isn't it, Gal?
I think when we look at our midfield, yeah.
I've still got it, Crunch. There you go. Still got it.
To be fair, listen, there's nothing there that I've seen of Tom Carroll that you're telling me is a better player than Ricky Martha. So that's
even I can't keep a straight face with that one, Kally.
Right, listen. Okay, let's look at it, right? So the thing that's been really encouraging under this kind of McKenna reign or whatever is the way Sam's driving forward as well in midfield. So Morsy's picking up the ball, driving forward. He's allowed to do that when he's got a good partner next to him. Someone like a Lee Evans who he does get stuck in. Lee Evans gets stuck in. He's not afraid of a tackle, and he's got those kind of deep. He's able to play a long range of passing from deep, pick out something good as well. Then you bring in kind of other options. Then now, yes, Tom Carroll can play a good pass. He's not really one to go in and start tackling people. He more bounces off players than takes the ball off people. And then his range of passing is good, and I appreciate that. But I think again yesterday he kind of died off in the game, and his passing become woeful. And then your other option, I think the one that will probably start on Saturday is Backinson, because I think he's the lad that's coming on loan. We've got to give him minutes or whatever. There'll be some sort of thing there. So I think he'll come in, and he's got an okay range of passing. He's slightly taller, and I'd say he's a bit, in terms of strength and getting stuck in, he's probably a bit more than Tom Carroll. Mm-hmm. But if I want player to get stuck in, to sit back so Sam can kind of drive forward, for me, partner Morsey with El Miz.
Oh,
that's what I'd do. I'd partner El Miz and Morsey.
El Miz and Morsey, Rich. Do you fancy a bit of that?
I totally agree with Kally. Totally agree there. I know Lewis is saying Evans is a water carrier. Every team needs a water carrier. I remember Matt Holland being called a water carrier when he was at Town.
But I think Lewis is saying it in a good way. I think he's saying it in a positive way.
He sits just in front of that back four, and he gets the ball. And I agree with Kally there. The next best option of the midfielders that we have got probably is El Mizouna, because when he's played there, I think he's done okay. I don't think he probably will play him. I think Backinson will play. I didn't think Tom Carroll was that bad last night. I thought first half he was quite good. But he was like the team, Martin, second half. They all sort of were off the pace. So I don't think we should just say it was just him.
No, true.
But he hasn't really impressed me when I've seen him. And I think he's only signed a year's contract. I wouldn't be renewing in the summer. Obviously, he was at Spurs when McKenna was there, so he knows him. So there's that link there. But no, he has to do more if he plays.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, you wouldn't extend him, Tom, because you've got the GOAT coming back from Crewe. So, you'd be slotting King Rakeem in there, right?
I think there's a good enough player there that we don't need to keep Carroll on for another season. So, yeah, I hope he comes back and has a good pre-season under McKenna.
Yeah. I never thought I'd say we're going to miss Lee Evans, though, Tom. I never thought I'd say those words, but I think we generally are.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. I think he's been pretty good for most of the season. I think he was struggling when we were struggling at the start of the season, but the whole team were, and there's definitely enough of the player there. I think he's shown that in the past anyway. So, yeah, him and Morsey need to get back in there together because we're going to struggle regardless. I'd like to see him come in, but I don't know how that will fit with Morsey. I don't know if that would restrict Morsey going further forward because he might need to support Elmiz a bit more. I don't know if Elmiz is going to be sitting by himself, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Well, in the couple of games we've seen him in that role, he has sat there. So he has sat and he's tried to sweep. And you know what? One of the things I give him his dues, technically he's a very tidy footballer, Elmiz. So he can, those kind of like quick things that we talk about with Tom Carroll, I'm seeing those traits in Elmiz, and he's our player, and he's young. I'd soon give him and Morsey a chance because I don't think we're going to see Evans before the Oxford game. And we need to pick up some serious points between now and playing Oxford because that's going to be a big 6-pointer.
It depends, Richard. It's what you want, and we'll bring Stephen in a second. Time is running out on us here. It's running away. I don't know where it's gone. We've already gone an hour. But what do you want from that midfield position? Because is there an argument that with his age and experience and ball retention skills, Sonny Aluko could play in that role, in that too?
Where would you play him? Would you have him the deep line midfielder?
Well, this is what I'm asking. It depends what you want from one of those positions. But has he got the attributes that could maybe transform his age into something?
That's probably the only thing that I'd go against him. He's what is he, 33? He's still fit. He's probably the best technical footballer we've got at the football club, and he looks after the ball really, really well, doesn't he, Aluko? So that is another option. I would be surprised if he played him there.
That's kind of like.
Go on, Kally.
Sorry, I was just going to say that's kind of like, and obviously they're two different types of players, but in terms of quality. But how we talked about Dazelle last year, like he played a bit deeper. For me, Aluko, someone that's going to spin a play and run at them, I'd rather they're 20, 30 yards further up the pitch so they can get a bit closer to the goal or punish him.
Yeah.
Beating a striker or a midfielder and getting to the halfway line, it's all well and good. But, let's for him, he's someone that can change the game. So I don't know.
You could play him, Kally, with Sam sitting deeper.
Yeah, but that's the only way you could do it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We'll bring Stephen Parry in. Stephen, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good man. You're acquiring quite a following, Steve. You're like the Pied Piper of truth.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I think there was a little bit of people going OTT yesterday. At the end of the day, it was one game. I looked at it. I sat down and I reflected about it today, and I thought to myself, look, we've had 11 games under McKenna, and we've effectively gained 6 points on those teams above us. So who's to say we can't gain another 6 points in the next 11 games? As Crunch said before, it's probably about 6 points what we might need. We've done it once, we can do it again. We can't sit here and say, well, we can't do it. Well, we just have done. So yes, we can do it. We can go, if we get 4 points, all we need is a win. Let's remember, Sunderland's got a really tough away trip to Wigan on Saturday. So if we get a win, even if it's just a scrappy 1-0 with an own goal, I'm not fussed right now. Yeah. If we get that and Sunderland lose, we're ahead of point behind Sunderland. Anything can happen on the day. A ball could have gone if someone's ash yesterday and we could have lost it. We just don't know what's going to happen. That's why I came on and said football, that's what it's all about. That's why we enjoy it. On the day, anything can happen. And I just think that, look, we've gained 6 points. 2 months ago, we were dead and buried. Most of us would have said it was probably over with. Now we've got a sniff, and we've gained 6 points in 11 games. We can gain another 6 points in 11 games. It's tough, yeah, it's made it harder, but it was always a slim outside chance anyway. So it's become more of a possibility than it was 2 months ago. So there's no reason to say that we can't do it, Who would have said we'd equal our club record for clean sheets of 5?
Absolutely.
2 months ago, no one would have said that. But we have done. There's a lot of things that we've done that 2 months ago people would have said no chance.
You're absolutely right. What I would say, and I did say this to somebody today, is that the full-time show isn't about big picture. It's about the 90 minutes that's just gone. And this is why these shows the day after are almost sometimes completely different to those full-time reaction shows, because you're in that emotion. So let me tell you something. On Saturday, when we beat Morecambe, the feeling of the full-time show will be we're the best team since the UEFA Cup winning team. Everything's rosy. We're going up. I mean, you yourself are falling into that trap, Stephen. Not going to lose another game all season. You did say that. But that's the emotion of the full-time show. That's the beauty of it. So
that's optimism. I didn't, you can believe it or not. I can say it now. That's optimism. I'm allowed to be optimistic. I love my club. I want my club to go up. I'm allowed to be optimistic. If that means that I say stupid things that make me look a fool, so what?
No, I liked it. I thought it was great. I didn't think it would come true.
What I'm saying is, it's like I think that Burton game didn't do us any favours, because I've also looked at it. 3 goals, 3-0. That's not been our average score since McKenna's been here. It's been like 1-0, 1-0. It's been very tight games, and then we hit someone 3-0, and then all of a sudden everyone's going, "Oh, it's only Cheltenham. It'll be 4-0, 5-0." You can't look at games like it. If we've got to go into every game, saying every game's a battle. Every game we've got a battle for this. This is not a gimme. I don't care who we play, whether it's Morecambe, whether it's Rotherham, whether it's Cheltenham. Every game is a battle. Every game is 3 points. We've got to win. We're not going to be given them. We've got to win them. We've got to win on the pitch. We've got to win in the players' minds, and we've got to win in their players' minds. And we've got to impose ourselves and say, look, we are better than you, and I don't care what you say, and we'll make make us better than you. And all I'm saying is, if we keep down that mindset, if we go down the mindset of, we'll just rock up and win, we'll probably lose or we won't win. We've got to go and focus. Even as fans, we've got to go in and focus and say, look, this is going to be a battle. Sometimes it may not work. Sometimes it may work. All I see is it's a building process. And no matter what happens this season, whether we make it or whether we just miss out, we've all got to be prepared for that. Yeah. If we make it, no one's going to be happier than me. If we don't, I look at it as to say, look, we've just had probably one of the best records we've had in probably over a decade in the last 11 games. And there's no reason to say that's not going to change. And that's going to be a fabulous springboard moving. No, we're going to start next season probably with one of the soundest defences, in this league.
That counts for nothing, Stephen. Now, and Martin's right before. Martin's sick and tired of looking to next season, building for next season. Next season is completely different, We might keep another 6-7 clean sheets. When we start next season, that record's gone.
And what makes you think, if we're in League One, what makes you think we're still going to have the same players?
Because I don't see anybody coming in for it.
Really?
No, I don't. Everybody says this, and everybody says, oh, well, they'll come in for our players. What if they come in? They come in at our price. They don't come in at the price that they want to get them at. We're not Derby. If they want them, they'll have them at our price. And then we'll reinvest that money to somebody else. I'm not naive to say that we won't sell a player. If someone wants our manager, he'll go at the price we want him to go at. Otherwise, they can sod off. He might not like it, but he's got a contract and he can bloody well stick to that. So can the players. They go for our price. We don't need to sell anymore. We're not Marcus Evans. We'll sell for a £5 and a packet of crisps. Yeah, they go for the price we want them to go at. And if they don't like that,
disagree.
Then they stay here. And I don't see anybody in the Championship. Premier League won't buy any of our players. And I don't see many clubs in the Championship, or at least bottom half of the Championship, because top half won't buy them. Bottom half of the Championship, that have really got a
You don't think someone like Fridge would be a Championship player next season, or could be? I think so.
If they've got the money for him. And I don't see many clubs offering the money for him. There's cheaper options.
All right. The Piper of truth. That's you, Stephen. You're the Piper.
We're still living in the ages of COVID, aren't we? And clubs are bankrupt. So I think if players go, players go. That's the way of the world for every club. That's the way of the world for Championship clubs. It's the way of the world for Premier League clubs. They're assets. We just sell them on and we buy another one. That's the whole point of having a situation where you buy and sell players. That's what Mark Ashton was saying. We buy players, sell high. Then we buy another one and sell high. But the top and bottom of it is we don't worry about it. If we start worrying about losing players, we're never going to move forward.
No, but it does in turn also mean you can't really sit here and say, right, we've got, the back five sorted for next year. You have to you have to seize the moment, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not. This is. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. We're going to.
You're saying if we win, great, we're making strides towards the players. If we lose, oh well, we've got next year. It's almost that I'm having both cakes, in my opinion, because it's
you have to have both cakes. We're in a position now where you have to have both cakes.
But you don't want to. But Stephen, you don't want to like.
We could win every game this season, and we still not go up because the other teams around us could win every game this season.
That'd be classic Town, that, wouldn't it?
So we have to have our cake. We have to try and have our cake and eat it because there's a possibility where we could do very well and still miss out.
What you just said there is classic Town. If anyone who could win the next
but
XYZ games.
We've also got to take it into account that form at the end of this season, can move into next season. Maybe I should have used the word can.
Yes.
People would then go in with a mindset saying, look, we can do it in this division. So they'll go into next season think, like everybody did with Joe Pigott. Everybody came in with the mindset saying, well, he got 20-odd goals last season. He can get 20-odd goals this season. It didn't work. No. But everybody uses that as, well, he can do it. Maybe he can. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But you've got to look for the positives. And if you keep looking for negatives, you're just going to be on a downer.
Absolutely. Well, that's why we have you on, Stephen, because you are the positive king. You lift us all up when we are down. You are our.
There's no other reason, is there really?
Well, no. I mean, yes, of course there is. The Piper for a truth. So I've just got to try and block Love Face.
I was going to click on that.
I thought that was Mike's OnlyFans page.
That's what I thought. Right, talking of OnlyFans, we've got the GOAT coming in just a second. Harry, we love you. Look after yourself. Right. Apparently, it's go. Time is running out on us. I'm so sorry. Right, how are you, first and foremost?
Yeah, not so bad, Gav. Not so bad. Not so bad,
Good.
mate.
Never ever apologise for having an opinion. I haven't seen the video. I don't know what you said. I don't care what you've said. It's your opinion. Own it. Have it. Never say sorry for it. What do you want to say about last night? How good was it in your opinion?
No, let me just answer what you just said first.
Okay,
Gav.
of course you can.
The reason I'm doing this in a respectful way, the reason I've apologised to you and everybody I know to do with Taunton Town, who obviously probably watched that video, I believe, like Rich said to me earlier, I think it was cringy, and I think I let myself down. And I'll tell you something else. Hawks texted me this afternoon, and I said more or less the same thing to him, and he said to me, "Do you know what, Colin? I've got total respect for you to be able to actually say that, to actually say, I wish I hadn't have done it."
Like I said to you, Colin, earlier. And
I know what you're going to say, Rich.
Now,
I know what you're going to say, Rich. You don't, Rich. Honestly, you don't have to tell me again.
I'm just not saying to you. I'm saying to everyone. I'm saying to everyone, like when we come out of the ground, and emotions are running high, it's probably sometimes not the best time to speak.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Can I ask? Because I've not seen it. What is it? What did you actually say? For those at home perhaps haven't seen it.
Well, I was having a rant about pigs and that, you know, and maybe I went a little bit.
Colin. So I mean,
sorry,
I gave him a 2.
I mean, you know, look, I'm not his greatest fan. When he pulls the blue shirt on, if he pulled it on, if I was at Morecambe on Saturday, let's use this as an example. If I was at Morecambe with Rich on Saturday, he pulled that blue number 9 on. However much I don't think he really should be playing at the moment, I would support him 100%. Do I think he should be playing at Morecambe on Saturday? And this is where I'm going to leave it tonight. No, I don't, because I really don't think at the moment, you know, he's ideal for possibly our style of play. And I'm going to leave it at that tonight, Gav, because I don't really want to rant about that again. No, I just don't want to do it. I really don't. I'd like to speak about last night, and I must admit, I've been having a chat with like me boys kind of thing, and actually, I'm starting to think now whether this, you know, thinking back on last night, I'm starting to wonder whether this 2 number 10s thing is actually working. You know, the Shalina and Chaplin thing. I'm in agreement with Mike, what he said earlier. You know, for example, I said to Coxey, I sat with Coxey last night, and I said it to him at half time. God's honest truth. I said, I quote myself. I said to Coxey at half time, if we'd have had 2 up top, I know ifs and ands are pots and pans, but if we'd have had 2 up top from the start on last night, I honestly think we'd have went in at least 2, because the crosses what were going in were first class pulls in. We never had the players in the box to finish them off half the time. I do believe if we'd had two forwards up top last night, I think we'd have went in at least 2 goals to the good. You know what happened with Pigs when the ball came in for Selena. I mean, I just don't know what he was trying to do be honest. You know,
but if Selena hasn't given him a call, then of course he's going to go for it. Because
Kally, I get that. I've played county football myself, so I get that 100%. I'll tell you what, calls are vitally important, obviously, in football. I'll tell you another thing I thought about today, and I'll tell you what dear old Bobby used to always say, that the good ball, that Bobby used to always say, the good ball is the easy ball. You know, the good ball in is the easy ball. In other words, the good pass is the easy pass. And, you know, sometimes it's just having that football and brain. And I must admit, last night, another thing I thought about, right? And look, I do believe that, and I agree with what you said earlier, Gov. I do believe at least one of the substitutions last night, and my God, I am not having a go at Kieran McKenna because that bloke has absolutely uplifted this club. But I think in agreement with you, Gov, and I do really agree with you, I think with the big red wall, as Rich called it last night, I really believe there was one man on that bench. If it had been given a good 25 minutes, half an hour, would have unlocked that lot maybe last night would have been Sonny Aluko as opposed to Joe Pigott. That's a substitution I would have made last night. That man has got a football and brain. I would put money on him starting Saturday. I'll tell you what, he would have unlocked that. He'd have unlocked that lock last night. I'm absolutely positive for that.
Aluko would have unlocked the lock.
Keep laughing about it. He's, according to John Walk, who plays 675 games for our club, he's the best footballer in the football club.
I don't know that.
Period.
Okay, but Tom, Aluko, 33. How many
I don't
games
care how old he is, Cup.
No. Let me finish the end of the question to Tom.
Oh, mate.
You say, say that, Colin. 33, 3 games this week. How many games realistically can you get out of Sonny Aluko these days?
Look, I get where
your voice is amazingly changed there.
Oh, sorry.
I apologise. A word in like 20 minutes. He could be watching Silent Witness or something. Tom.
Yeah, I've just done my tax return. It's fine. I'm joking, Ivan.
Aluko, how did you?
Aluko.
What do you think?
Yeah, I go at games.
Yeah, he seems fit enough to me, Aluko. I think technically he's very good. Technically, he's a very good player. I think he can certainly play twice in a week, but I don't think McKenna's going to play anyone that many times in a week. He's going to rotate this front three. I don't know how long he's going to keep doing this for because I feel like it's coming undone a little bit. I feel
Can I ask you one question?
Of course.
I'll ask you one question. 1980-81 season, how many games? He wasn't 33. Don't put your eyes up in the air. How many games did Russell Osman play in that season? Don't answer it, Rick.
I can answer it.
Don't answer it. How many games did he play out of 66?
I don't know, but it's not 1981.
Out of 66.
Football's changed since then, man.
Sorry?
41.
I shall guess 66.
50.
Tom is right.
66.
Played 66 games.
But then, okay, so let me no, because football's changed since then, and the thing is like, look, when we tried with
Kally, let me say,
we all
in those 66 games, Kally, he was playing FA Cup replays, he was playing FA Cup semi-finals, he was playing UEFA Cup semi-finals, he was travelling to France, he was travelling to Cologne, he was travelling to Amsterdam, he was travelling everywhere you can think of. We don't. This team don't. We was travelling all over Europe. We was travelling all over the country like we do now. We was also putting Europe in as well.
Colin, no, listen. You can't make that comparison. No, you can't make that comparison. The intensity of football now is different to what it was then. The intensity is completely different now. Right? Even look, skip to 1996 and 1996, and we the way we managed Kieran Dyer as an example, as a young player coming through all those games at him, that hampered his injuries and that caused him major injuries and to be fair, was a major issue for his career later down the line.
I don't disagree with Colin. Players nowadays,
you're sports
you're too nostalgic. You're holding on to
mollycoddled too much, Kally. They are.
Well, that might be so, but these days you've got devices that track everything from sleep to God knows what else, and they look at these as I said before, prize racehorses these days. Crunch. They're looking at these people, and they any dip, they risk them.
The footballers used to go on the piss back then. Top athletes now don't drink. That's right? True. They don't have put that in their thing. Like Ian said there about having a fag.
Right, let's move on to Morecambe. Let's leave that one because we have got a Luco in a team. Let me bring up Tom's team here. Oh, he hasn't got a Luco in it. But Tom, talk to me about your team. Colin, you can tell me what you think about Colin's team for Morecambe because time is pushing. 1 hour, 21 minutes. Tom, your team for Morecambe. Talk to me. What is going on?
Back four are the same. Burns is still playing. KVY, I'd like to see how he does because he seems to be fit now. I'd like to see how he is instead of Thompson. I think Thompson's not had the best time down the left, but again, the left side all season's not been great for us. I'd like to see two up top with Selena in behind just to see how that works. And yeah, I think, to be honest, there's a good case for Elmis to be in there with Morsey, but I've gone for Backinson just for the fact he scored a goal, and I think I'd like to try and see him again. There's my team.
All right, lovely. Colin, what do you make of that for Morecambe?
What do I think of it? Can I have a look at that team again, please, Gav?
Of course you can. Of course you can. He's gone for a 3-4-1-2 with Jackson and Norwood up top with Selena in behind. And Backinson for Lee Evans, who's out for a couple of weeks.
I'm happy with 2 forwards up top, like I said earlier on. I'm happy with Selena. Wait, so that's KVY. Who's in the middle there? Sorry, I can't read it properly.
Backinson and Morsey.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, Burns. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, that looked first class. I probably the only change I would have made there, I'd have possibly I'll leave it alone. But I would have going to say about playing Luco, but because look, I'm sick and tired of it. Really, I just want to see the best players. No, Rich, you're having a little laugh, mate. You know what I love about the boy. He's got a football brain, and when you're playing against teams like Morecambe and Cheltenham and Fleetwood Town and even Lincoln City, every player in the team who can unlock a lot. You know what I mean? Because especially Morecambe and Fleetwood, but like I say, if he's on the bench, I'm fine with that. But unlike Pigs last night, if you're going to put a Luco on, give him half an hour. Let him do the business. He's probably not going to do the business in 10 minutes. Give him a chance, or give it any sub who's coming on. Give him a chance. Give him 25, half an hour. Because you know as well as I do, Rich, Gov and Kally and everybody, if you've played a game, if you're given 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, it takes you 5 minutes to get in the game.
That's what I was saying about Piggott when he came on last night, Colin. He was only on for 15 minutes and he's trying too hard.
I agree with that. I do get that, Rich.
You've got to give him credit for that. Like, let's give him his dues. He didn't shy away. He had a small amount of time, and yeah, like Rich said, he tried too much. That was the issue. But he didn't shy away. He didn't go into a corner and be like, "Don't pass me the ball." He wanted to get involved. He was trying desperately. But yeah,
like I said earlier, I want to just make this point so people don't get me wrong. Do I ever not back Piggott when he plays for Town? Absolutely no chance. I back every player. Rich knows that, and so does Gov. I back every player, and so do you, Kally. I back every player 100. There's no other such thing. 100% when they pull that shirt on. And if Piggott was selected on Saturday, nobody in Suffolk would be more pleased than me to see him score out of 43 seconds. I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
Nobody.
Right. We have got Kally's team now for you, Mr. Cruncher. Here we go. What do you think of this one? Kally, talk us through your 11 first and foremost. You've gone for Bon and Jackson up front. Go for it.
Best two strikers at the club at the moment, I think. I know Bon needs to find the goals. But I'd quite like to see the Bon and Jackson combo. I think Aluko is probably our best number 10. I am with Colin in that kind of camp. And I think he just does unlock it. Obviously, I talked about Sam and Elmis in terms of our midfield pairing earlier. I think that they're probably the best two midfielders. after Lee Evans is obviously injured. And like TJ said as well, KVY, he seemed to come in. He did all right for me yesterday. Thompson hasn't been too bad, but I was expecting a lot more attacking options and a lot more kind of attacking threat from Thompson, and I'm yet to really see that. So KVY, even in the little cameo appearance he had yesterday, he was hungry, he wanted it, he was driving. So, and then the back four speaks for itself, really.
Okay, Crunch, what do you make of this one?
It's interesting because, like, the two signings we've made in the window, Beckinson and Thompson, are not in Kally's team there.
I don't think Beckinson's. He's not better than El Miz for me at the moment. He's not better than.
I don't disagree with that, but I think he's.
But he probably will play. Yeah, he probably will play. You're right.
I think Thompson last night, Gov, he was over our side second half. I don't know if he had an injury, but the start of the second half, he was really, really blowing. So maybe I think if Thompson's fit, he plays for me. He stays in the team. Aluko, yeah, number 10. What is his assists, Martin, this season and goal output?
Well, it's the worst out of the three.
But no, but you can't. This is the thing. You can't just say look at direct assists. Look at Jackson's second goal, or no, who scored the second goal? Wes Burns' goal.
The ball that he played.
Look at the Gillingham game. You know, he's one of those players that he spins players. He runs at players and spins them. Selena does that as well, but for me, Selena either takes too much risk sometimes and gets dispossessed. But then actually saying that, I was just thinking about that out loud. Gov did a stat, and actually we found out Selena got dispossessed the least.
He did.
But it just seems a bit more positive for me in terms of Aluko. It seems a bit more positive.
The issue I have is I can't sit up here and slam Selena and then promote Aluko, because Aluko statistically, from what we've seen on I think it was SofaScore, is categorically the worst, or certainly in the middle of Chaplin, Selena, and
well, it was Selena and Aluko were about 7 points something,
and then it was Chaplin just
Chaplin
behind,
was
But then SofaScore gave Selena a 7.8 last night, Martin.
Yeah, that's they don't get it right all the time. I don't know. Are we confident for Morecambe then, Tom? Are we heading up to Morecambe with confidence? We should be, right?
Should be. I honestly don't know at the minute. It's this front three, we can't work it out, and it's the only bit that's bugging me, to be honest. Is we can't work out what we're going to do. The goals seem to have dried up in McKenna's tenure. Like, we scored 3 against Burton, but we're still grinding out results. So we could get a 1-0 win. That's probably the way I would go at the minute. It's a scrappy 1-0 win. It won't be pretty, because I think those 2 games up in the northwest are going to be tricky, but it's probably where I'm seeing it at the minute.
Crunch, do you know? I can't work out what Jordan's trying to ask here.
Coach travel or something to the game, isn't he? He's looking at away travel.
Yeah,
you can buy the coach tickets.
I don't know if that's closed now. I don't know when they'd shut that. Jump in your car,
going.
Jordan.
He's got a spare seat, right?
Yeah, I've got a spare seat. If you can get to Newmarket or Huntingdon.
There you go, Jordan. We've sorted you out.
How long is that going to take you? Because it's about 2 and a bit, 3 hours for me.
I think about 4 1/4, Kally.
Right. I want some score predictions.
I'm doing it under 3. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I should be on fucking holiday. That's why there's 4 of us sat on here tonight instead of 3 of us. I should be on my holidays, people, and I'm sat talking about fucking Morecambe. So I want a score prediction. Colin, score prediction for Morecambe, please.
2-0 Town.
Love it. Rich,
confident,
you should have been the host tonight, but bottled it.
Just a quick shout out to Lewis. Just a quick shout out to Lewis Robertson, what he said earlier on about the 10 games if we reproduce that. I was saying exactly the same thing to Mike Brown this morning. I was looking at me little old table and that in the East England. If we produce the exact
fucking rag, Colin, wasting your night.
Easy, fellas. All views are their own, not of the network.
If we, Rich, if you don't mind, mate, if we, you knob, if we produce exactly the same in the next 10 games, like I said to Mike this morning, in the next 10 games, like we have in the previous 10 games, we will be in, like Lewis quite rightly said tonight, we will be in the playoffs. And we'll be off to Wembley. Wembley!
All right, Colin, you need to go and have a lay down, I think. If you're dreaming of Wembley, look after yourself.
Thank you, mate. You take care, Gav. See you,
Beware
mate.
of those pigs, mate. Beware of those pigs. Crunch, score prediction, please.
Who are we going for? Me?
Yes, please.
It's going to be a very, very tough game. If anyone thinks we're going to Morecambe, we're just going to roll them over.
I hate those words. When is it finally our turn to be a decent team?
It's going to be grim up north. It's always grim up north. It's probably going to be raining. The pitch is going to be shit. The dressing rooms are not going to be great. I think we'll grind a 1-0 victory and we'll all be really happy coming home. And I'll come on the full-time show and I'll be really nice to everybody.
Bollocks, you will. Tom, score prediction, please.
1-0. Town.
1-0. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Lovely. Joe Piggott with the goal?
No.
Just deadpan response to that, Tom. Cheers. Kally, score prediction, please.
I'm with these two as well. I think it's gonna be a scrappy game, and I think it's gonna be a close one. But I don't want to say 1-0 because they've said 1-0 as well. It's a bit boring. So let's fucking change it up. Let's go 4-1. Fucking change it up. Let's fucking go big, mate.
Are you attending, or are you going to your weekend retreat in Germany or Holland or Canada or wherever the fuck it is you go?
No, I'll be there.
You'll be there. Fair enough. Right. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We'll be live.
Please sit in Canada. Oh no, you don't know.
He doesn't know. Yeah. Are they comp? Are they comp?
Look, just end the show, man. Don't worry.
Fair enough. Right, we're back Friday with the press conference reaction show. Thank you all for watching. I should be on my holidays. Instead, I've been talking football. It's what I love doing the most. Apart from when I get called a knob. Right,
Love you, God. Love you, really.
I wore off a duck's back after 18 months on this show. Right, he has been Tom James, the big fish. He is Kally Bisla, the king. This is the Cruncher, the king of the knobs. We are live again Friday. Support us through YouTube and Ko-Fi. Sorry about the language. It's what we do. It's who we are. But until Friday, with love.
I'm apologising to absolutely nobody.
Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you know you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. You know it makes sense, you lovely people.